The system never told you this. Why? In a world where we generate more wealth than ever in history, does staring at your bank app at 2 a.m. still feel like a survival horror game? You work, you save, you follow the rules, and yet the ground beneath you feels less stable every single year. But what if the thing you thought was just a lazy pipe dream, giving everyone free money, was actually the only safety net left for a future that's coming faster than you think? Welcome to the Hidden Why, where your curiosity finds its answers. Today, we're going to explore why universal basic income isn't just a dream anymore. It might be the inevitable reality. I'll be honest, I used to think UBI was a joke. You probably did too. The idea of the government cutting a check to everyone, rich or poor, no strings attached, it sounds like a recipe for disaster. We're taught that money equals value, and if you get money without working, society collapses because everyone just sits on the couch playing video games. But here's the twist. That skepticism is based on a world that doesn't exist anymore. We assume UBI is just free money for lazy people. But when you look closer, it's not about charity. It's about a floor. Think about the game of Monopoly. If you start the game with $0, you don't get to play, you just lose. Right now, millions of people are starting the month with zero, and we wonder why they can't just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And this is where the story we tell ourselves starts to crack. The reason isn't because people are getting lazier. It's because the rules of the game have fundamentally changed. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, to the robot in the room. For decades, we've been told that automation would only take the dull, dirty, and dangerous jobs. We thought if we got degrees, if we learned to code, we'd be safe. On paper, that sounded like a solid plan. In reality, AI is coming for the writers, the coders, and the accountants first. Recent reports from the IMF in 2024 estimate that nearly 40% of global employment is exposed to AI. That's not just a statistic. That's your job, my job, and your neighbor's job potentially vanishing into the cloud. And it's not just the future. Look at the gig economy right now. You probably know someone driving for Uber or delivering food. It looks like freedom, but often it's just precarious work with stagnant wages. You're working harder, spinning the hamster wheel faster, but the rent keeps going up while the paycheck stays the same. It's that feeling when you see the gas pump click past $50, and for a split second, your stomach tightens because you know that money has to come out of the grocery budget. That is the cost of living crisis. The current system is failing to provide basic security, and the economic earthquake isn't coming. It's already shaking the floorboards. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but if we give people money, won't they just stop working? This is where the data slaps us in the face. We don't have to guess. We have receipts. Take Alaska. Since the 82nd, they've had the permanent fund dividend, basically oil money that belongs to the residents. In 2024, eligible Alaskans received around $1,702. Did they stop working? No. In fact, studies over decades show it had no negative effect on full-time employment. It just meant people had a little extra cushion when the heater broke or the car tire popped. Or look at the recent massive study backed by Sam Altman's OpenResearch released in mid-2024. They gave people $1,000 a month for 3 years. Critics screamed that people would quit their jobs. The reality? People worked about 1.3 hours less per week. But here's the part almost no one talks about. They didn't use that time to sleep. They used it to go to the doctor. Dental visits went up 10%. Younger people stayed in school longer. People bought better food. They bought time to find a job that actually fit them, instead of grabbing the first desperate option that came along. In Stockton, California, a $500 monthly trial showed that people were actually more likely to find full-time employment because they could afford the gas to get to the interview. The money didn't make them lazy. It made them capable. But here is the question that stops every conversation dead in its tracks. Where does the money come from? It sounds impossible. Trillions of dollars. But let's look at the math without the panic. First, we are already spending billions on a welfare system that is often inefficient, punitive, and trapped in bureaucracy. Streamlining that administrative bloat is step one. But the bigger picture is about data as the new oil. Remember Alaska? They tax oil because it's a shared resource. Well, in 2025, data is the shared resource. AI companies are training their models on our data, everything we've ever written, posted, or created online. Why shouldn't we get a dividend from that? There are serious proposals for carbon taxes and wealth taxes on the ultra-rich who benefit most from automation. And there's the economic stimulus argument. UBI isn't money burning in a pit. It's money that gets spent immediately at local grocery stores, mechanics, and shops. It circulates. It's an investment, not just an expense. You might still be skeptical. I get it. It feels like magic math. But when the alternative is a society where 40% of people can't buy food because a server farm took their job, the cost of not doing it starts to look a lot higher. So, what happens if we actually pull this off? It's not just about cash. It's about a ripple effect. When people aren't in constant survival mode, crime goes down. Health goes up. Entrepreneurship spikes because people aren't terrified that one failed business idea will leave them homeless. We start redefining work. Remember that 2 a.m. anxiety staring at the bank app? Imagine if that knot in your stomach loosened just a little. Imagine a world where you work because you want to build something, not because you're terrified of starving. We stop asking, how do I survive this month? And start asking, what can I actually contribute to the world? The UBI paradox is that by giving people something for free, we might finally unleash their true value. It's not a handout. It's a foundation. So the next time you hear about robots taking jobs, ask yourself, are we building a future where machines work for us? Or one where we starve because we can't outwork the machines?
Every question hides a reason. Every answer reveals a story. If this one made you see the world a little differently, give it a like. And if you want to keep uncovering the hidden why behind our world, hit subscribe and stay curious.